All right, guys, welcome to another cool workshop. I have Dennis Yu from BlitzMetrics, and Dennis Yu is going to show us some super sick things on repurposing content. I should have come up with a cooler name than repurposing content, but you probably have one.
So if you're an agency,
there you go.
Well, creating content and repurposing content is tough, and getting leads is tough, right? And trying to work with clients to get content going is tough. So what do you, like, you're a content director, what, Daniel, do you see as your biggest challenge?
Honestly, it's now, okay, well, TikTok gives you kind of, I usually start with TikTok because it gives you kind of ideas of what sort of video to create. And that's kind of easy. So you go, well, maybe I want to use a sound or this bit or, video style. So you kind of follow like a trend, let's say, and then you just relate it to your niche.
Yeah.
And that's sort of easy because you can kind of just pull something out. But the struggle really is like getting it scheduled, repurposing it on the right platforms, and doing it in a way that I don't have to necessarily do it every single day. And not just that, but also like, if it's posted, it's because I did it 5 minutes before. And then repurposing is difficult because I don't necessarily know the best way to format it or like pull something from a podcast. And so it's kind of just like, if I don't create a piece of content and post it, it's going to be hard to find a system that posts to like the places I want. That's too, like posting to the places I want, like idea pins or Instagram reels or Facebook reels, stuff like that. So it's sort of like a smorgasbord of a bunch of things.
So I'm going to show you a framework, and everyone here that's watching, whether it's on the replay, well, it's a replay because we're not doing it live. I'd love to hear what you think about this. So I'm going to tell you a few different stories just to show through live examples instead of through PowerPoint, how we can repurpose content in a clever way. And the way it starts is you start with something that is high authority. So let's say that we're in the real estate business, right? We're an agency that serves real estate agents. Then if you have content with the top person in that industry, in this case, Tom Ferry is the one that real estate agents know the best. So I've got an hour and a half masterclass podcast, whatever you want to call, with him. And you can see
your videos are all going to suck the first 10 or 20.
So here we're going through these different topics, right? So if you're a real estate agent, how do you handle Google My Business and Facebook and TikTok and SEO? And you can see all the stuff here, right?
Yeah.
This is living on a site. This site is a domain rank 69. So that's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
But it also lives on YouTube. And on YouTube, you can see it's got
find these ones that win and you just keep putting more.
39,000 views. It's gone up. And you can see the comments that people have here are all super, super positive, right? So good, so good, right? So if I'm running an agency and I'm serving real estate agents, content like this, that most real estate agents will know who Tom Ferry is, this is what I want to repurpose to get more of the same thing, because this is high authority. It's what we call a lighthouse, but we need to get more people seeing this, right? Because the more people that see this, because 450,000 real estate agents follow Tom Ferry in the United States, the more they're going to want to use me as their agency to do their digital marketing, right?
So you've like leveraged the interview to give you like massive credibility.
Yes. And that's what I want everyone to understand, is we're starting with the lighthouse. We're starting with great content, and it's co-created content, not Dennis talking with his cell phone or some podcast all by myself solo. Like if I was a big deal, I could probably do that, right? But if you're not a big deal, you need, as an agency, they all sound the same, right? So you need to say something that distinguishes you. And it's not, what would you do if you had 3 new clients per month? Let's hop on a 15-minute call. That's a bunch of nonsense. You're smiling because you know that's what these guys do. I won't shame and name, but you know who these different people are.
Well, it's either that or they're flashing off their fancy cars. One of the two.
It's also BS.
Yeah.
So look at what these people are saying, right? Game changer podcast. That was awesome. You can read this. This goes on and on, hundreds of comments here, right?
But great comments.
Yeah, this is awesome. And you want tons and tons of these, right? I'm not making it up. This is real. This is not some fake screenshot showing that I'm doing something good, right?
Yeah.
But the trouble is, or whatever it is, only 40,000 people have seen this on YouTube. And then people have seen it on Twitter. They've seen it on the website. And when it initially launches, a bunch of people will see it because he mails his list. But then how do I get more people to see it? Well, what I have to do is I got to repurpose the heck out of this. So let me show you some ways that you can repurpose if you have a high authority piece of content. And let me just show you another example just for fun. Let's do a couple more, and then I'm going to show you what the stages are because I like to have a little bit of fun.
And by the way, when you say high authority piece of content, you mean that that piece of content is on a high authority website. In a sense, it means it gets a lot of traffic.
That's one component of authority, but there's three components of authority. There's who's saying it, where it's being said, like a high authority site, like you mentioned, and also what is being said. Are you showing proof that you've achieved a certain result? You know, scale of 1 to 10. So if it's with the top person in that industry, 10. If it's on national TV or a well-known podcast or a site with a lot of traffic, 10. If it's showing how do you do something step by step to achieve a result, 10. So we talk about how do you actually do this, and it could be like the Golden State Warriors. They just won the NBA championships, right? You follow basketball.
Yeah.
And you can see lots of examples where I'm showing, hey, how do we run ads for the Golden State Warriors? We ran their ads for 5.5 years. Here's what our ROAS is. We have their head of digital marketing, their head of marketing, other people in sales talking about what it's like working with us. Their videos of me hanging out at the training facility and with the team and, you know, on the stadium and, you know, championship ring and all this kind of stuff, right? There's tons and tons of this as social proof.
Oh, cool.
And so this is way better, right, Daniel? This is way better than just me saying, hey, let's say my niche is basketball teams, right? Or sports teams. Hey, if you're a sports team, we can drive more revenue for you. Book a free call with me. That's ridiculous. What we want to do is showcase this is how we did it for the Golden State Warriors, step by step. And you can do the same thing too if you're a sports team. And rather than have me teach it, I'm teaching it together with the head of digital marketing, right? And we're making it public. And we're inviting the folks at the Warriors to be able to teach how we did this stuff together. So why is it more powerful to have the client talk about this than me talk about it?
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple of reasons, but one, probably the most obvious, I think, is just the fact that it's coming from someone that why would they lie about it? They're the one that put the risk up front to like work with you.
Yeah.
So it's trusted.
So they're going to trust a Tom Ferry more than me. I'm just some random guy. They don't know who I am. Right. Yeah. Or let's say that your niche is you're a dentist. Okay. So my buddy Glenn Vo is a dentist, successful dentist. He runs a nifty, thrifty dentists. And he also has 40,000 dentists that follow him. So a dentist is going to trust what other dentists, he runs Dent and Smiles Dentistry, right?
Yeah.
He has multiple dentists in his office. He's very successful. So here he's, you know, he's with his staff. He's got a great office. He's my dentist. I fly into Dallas to get my teeth done.
No way.
Yeah. And so he's sharing stories of what he's doing and, you know, how do you, if you're a dentist, are you going to trust Glenn Vo or are you going to trust some digital marketer?
Well, I might fly in to see Glenn Mo now.
Yeah, he's great. So we got a lot of mutual friends. And so what we'll do is Glenn and I will co-create content. You should do this with your clients. They don't have to be the number one in the industry, but that just happens to carry more power.
Sure.
So you can see Glenn and I are constantly doing stuff together. And if I do a search, Glenn Vo, you'll see there's these pictures and videos and all this where Glenn and I are hanging out and doing stuff.
So this is not just a way to build credibility or offer results to where you have credibility on your side and your client has like a testimonial to give, but it's also, if you search it, it's connected.
Yeah. So I want you to see that your ability, you don't have, if you think you have a lead gen problem, you don't. You have a strategy and authority issue. So look, this one. Conquer local think tank, insights with dental marketing. I invited my buddy Glenn on how do you how should digital agencies talk to, you know, I'll go here a little further. So I'm introducing
But
Glenn
what kind of procedures?
here.
What's funny,
So I'm saying, okay, Glenn, what advice do you have for people that they're digital agencies and they're trying to get dentists as clients? Right. Because you could hear like what I have to say as an agency owner or whatnot, but wouldn't it be so much better to hear from the guy who's on the other side getting pitched?
Absolutely.
Then he explains, here's what to do, here's what to
You don't have
he's
any
giving
money,
us tips.
that's okay. This is the best place to learn. All you guys are
when he sent me that message, I clicked on the profile.
right.
I looked at it as some dude in a wife beater, okay, trying to tell me that they can help me increase production. Now, here's the thing, guys. You got to look at who your target audience is, okay? I'm a practicing dentist, okay? Most dentists got to go to school 8 years, okay? We have to go through a series of interviews where we have to really look our best, dress up, have like a professional kind of like persona, and we have to go through all those interviews to become a dentist, okay? We invest so much money in our practices, $500,000 to open our practice. We're taking continuing education. We're investing in new technology. So when someone comes to us and says, hey, I can help you get more patients, and you look like you just rolled out of bed, number one, that's the number one mistake. That's the number one no-no. Because the thing is, the way I'm looking at it is, if you can't afford a regular shirt, you cannot help me, okay? If you're wearing a wife beater, you cannot help me. You do not know.
So this goes on for an hour and a half, right?
That is
And
so funny.
he's giving his advice because this guy gets called up, gets pitched like you would not believe every day, you know, by these digital, hey, I can help you rank better in Google. Hey, would you like more patients? I can help you with your social media marketing. So Glenn sends these to me and we laugh, right?
That is so funny. Is it ironic that I'm wearing a tank top?
Yeah. You felt like you were being personally convicted.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Glenn's my personal friend, and you can see we have a great vibe, and I care. So you can see this goes back to what we were just saying about authority, right?
Right.
So I have authority here because this guy's my friend. He's well known among other dentists. And so when we're teaching agencies, here's what you need to do. That also, if I wanted to take this video and have other dentists see this, they could see like Glenn and I are friends and we eat food all the time and we love Korean barbecue and sushi and Asian foods and things like that. And you can
No,
see.
that's okay as well.
So people are asking questions.
You
and Glenn's
did. I'm
answering.
like no longer one of just the followers, you know. But I've been there before, so just you can message me.
This is awesome, right? But the trouble is on YouTube, only 400 people have seen this. So if I'm an agency, and I believe everyone should niche down, and I am niching down to dentists, I'm going to interview other dentists. And instead of having me pitch this stuff, I'm going to interview them in such a way that they're going to give, I'm not going to say it's a testimonial, but
Yeah.
people will see the vibe that I'm hanging out with other dentists. And then along the way, this guy's going to say, you know, working with dentists has been awesome. So awesome to be on the podcast. You know, this is where we were 5 years ago. And today we're friends and we're doing these other things. And I can do the same thing here where I can look.
Quick note. See what is very unique that I noticed
Yeah.
right away was it was not a typical testimonial. In a way, this sort of is in some sense, right? But you're like
It is a testimony, but
showcasing.
it doesn't look like one.
It doesn't look
That's the
like it.
key.
And it
Sound
looks like
one.
you're just having a great conversation with a friend, like you mentioned. And to be
You are.
honest, he's got to be the chillest dentist I've ever listened to. And it sort of shows the relationship that you guys have. And it makes me want that.
That is the key there. The minute you see, just hit on the, you're like 3 steps ahead of me.
Oh.
So everyone here, listen, if you are an agency and you're collecting testimonials and you think testimonials are great, and I agree they are, but the minute you say testimonial, you've polluted and ruined the thing, because then, you know, it's like asking someone for their references. Like, you're not going to ever call the references because people are only going to use the people that say, oh yeah, working with Daniel's really good. Right?
Yeah.
Bogus. So what you want to do is, instead of say testimonial, call it a podcast, interview them. You're trying, you as the agency owner, trying to make them look good. And this is what I'm doing. So I invited him to the Coach You podcast, and watch what I did here. I'm a little further here.
In Denton as the dentist, and he's my dentist too. I fly into Dallas to see Dr. Glenn.
So I'm saying good things about him. I'm not saying anything about me. I never talk about me, right? Watch the psychology here. I'm going to show you some technical things, but I want to make sure you understand the psychology before we jump into these really cool technical AI marketing sorts of, tools.
Okay.
And Dr. Glenn has made time for us to hang out and do Korean barbecue, for us to work on his brand, for us to meet a lot of mutual friends. And I'm just so honored, Glenn, for you to join us.
Again, thank you so much. Each time I'm with Dennis, and you guys already know, for those who are listening and or watching as well, each time you're around Dennis, you always pick up something new. So again, I'm always excited to collaborate in any way I can, especially on a podcast setting like this.
One of the first webinars that we did together was with.
So it just goes on and on.
Do accomplish 10 things in one sitting, you're going to be disappointed. And that's where people get
Go a little
stuck.
further and see.
So,
That's
wow, everything from, graphic design, video editing.
Let's see a little further.
And that's creating jobs for young adults.
Let's go a little further.
Well, it's not their job. It is your job to learn as you interact with people, as you work with people.
So I'm asking him for his advice on how he grew his business.
Time in the factory, and they're paid, $15 an hour.
Hiring VAs. He's got a bunch of VAs.
Apprenticeship
He got
and
a ton of
actually
VAs.
working on stuff.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for the faculty and the administrators of all these universities?
Yeah. So, I would say look at the trade schools, right? Look at it this way. If you wanted to become a auto mechanic, right? You would go to a trade school.
All the questions I'm asking him are along the lines of the things that I care about. So he's reinforcing subconsciously all these different topics because we're pulling out 1-minute snippets from this hour-long interview. And all you need is a couple.
Trying to, scroll on Facebook at the same time. And they can
So
be.
he's mentioning all the things.
You're just going to have that dream, and it's not going to go anywhere.
You are giving him a question, what gives him a platform.
I'm doing what?
You're giving him questions to give him a platform to give you these types of responses back.
Yeah. And just listen to the quality of these
Our
responses.
episode now.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, so you want to know what I said to Dana White to get him to want to talk to me for 30 minutes? Check out this episode and I'll tell you the story.
These are the promo clips.
I just picked the brain of Dr. Glenn Vo, who runs the largest dental Facebook marketing group and the author of 2 books. You want to know how he did it? He's telling us right now.
Those are the promo things, promo clips.
Vouch for you, Nick was my editor. It made me want to read it. I'm so glad I did. Get across the finish line, because when it comes to books, it's also who
He's got a
you know.
best-selling book.
I have to make like a funny face later or something like that. But
In this, I couldn't pull out the clips I wanted, but he said a lot of awesome things about me. And I'm just pulling out those particular clips. Right.
And you didn't prep him to do that.
No, they just came
Just
out naturally.
came out.
The key is they came out naturally. They didn't feel forced at all. So one of the things that I teach that he talks about and our other figures talk about is making 1-minute videos, right? And so I could certainly right here explain what's a 1-minute video and how do you do it. And here's examples. And I have the best-selling book in social media right now on Amazon. It's on TikTok ads.
I need that.
I could do all these things. What? You got
I
it?
need that.
I'll send it to you.
Well, thanks.
But going back to this thing about framing authority and distributing authority and repurposing, instead of me talking about 1-minute videos, why wouldn't we just do this? Here, I'll play this one for you and then repurpose this.
Hey guys, Dennis wanted me to send you this. One best 1-minute tip. Bro, you got to be authentic. You got to be transparent. You got to get people's attention. I'm like, hey, that's one way to get their attention. Now, if you're in a professional setting, it might be more like making a big claim. Okay. I guarantee you something, you got to punch, you got to have a hook, you got to get excited. So, and let me just say this, all that being said, quantity beats quality. Don't kid yourself. You got to get out there a lot. Okay. Hey, you guys be great. 10X everything, thinking 10X levels. And that dude you're working with, Dennis, he's a bad man. You see what I do? I keep getting your attention. He's a bad man. And that's my little girl right there. She a freak. And that used to be grapefruit on my plate. See what I'm doing?
All right. So that's a 1-minute video that's got a lot of people engaging on it. A lot of people have seen it. And I've boosted it. And Uncle G's teaching about making 1-minute videos that are compelling and all the things that he said, right? So
Right.
how is that different than me just saying, hey guys, you need to make 1-minute videos and be compelling. You got to punch, you got to hook, it's about quantity, not quality. How is it different having Grant Cardone do that?
Well, it's Grant Cardone that's doing it.
So it builds authority for me, right?
Right.
So it sounds obvious, but almost no agencies do this. Isn't it more powerful to have other people talk about you than you talk about yourself? Because if you talk about yourself, you're a douchebag, aren't you?
Yes. Especially if no one knows you.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm important. I'm famous. I saw somebody who's applied to work on our company today, and he said that he was the world's best digital marketer. Really?
So you hired him, obviously.
Of course. I mean, well, he should hire me then, really.
Well,
Okay.
I have one little comment to mention. I do have to tell you, I do feel like I've had this all wrong until now.
What do you mean?
I feel until now, when you showed me this stuff, which I sort of knew to some degree, like you got to get testimonials, got to get other people talking to you. But beyond that, I didn't think much further. So what you've shown just so far is making me feel like I've had it all wrong this entire time, because
all agencies have it all wrong.
It's
they're trying to
blatantly
cold
obvious.
call and dream 100 and let's get on the phone for 15 minutes and I have a secret, and they have an hour-long webinar where they say nothing but then trying to get people to sign up for something with some secret.
Right. So like, where does this all where does this all fruit, like the stuff you're showing, where does this come from? Where do you start doing this? Because at the end of the day, is this extrapolated just from you have to get clients results? Does it basically come from that at first?
The most important thing is that you as a digital agency have to demonstrate that you can drive leads and sales. Because if you can't do that, then all the attention in the world doesn't matter, because you will churn those clients, right? Because maybe they'll sign up with you like, oh yeah, Daniel knows all these people and they all say good things about him, but then they sign up and then they cancel 2 months later because you haven't done anything.
Right.
So it starts from so look, I know that most agencies, they believe that their problem is they need more leads and sales. So they put 90% of their effort into selling.
Yeah,
I get that. You should put 90% of your effort into doing good work.
So would a good sort of general gist of a starting place, because a lot of the people we have it through like dash clicks and stuff, I mean, we kind of have a big spectrum. There's a lot of people that are super successful. Yeah. We have a lot of in-betweens, but there's a lot of people just starting. Like, a good place to start would be just build your knowledge up, get familiar as much as you can before you even start servicing a client. Because when you service that one client, you want to make sure that it's a good result at the end.
So with Dash Clicks, you've got a platform and a marketplace and tools and a community.
Yeah.
So I think the worst thing that you could do is believe that you can be a Superman and you can go out there and start knocking on doors and get people to sign up. And then once you get them to sign up, then you have the white label, affiliate execution or whatever, the platform, white label gets it all done. And this has nothing to do with whether Dash Clicks can white label get the work done. This has everything to do with, you have to be able to credibly and ethically represent to the client that you know what you're doing. Because if you don't, you're lying. So the way, and I get that, it's chicken and the egg, but I don't have any clients. So I'm brand new. And what you do is you partner with another agency who has done the thing as an apprentice, and you work with them and you get the experience. I can't tell you how many people we've hired as apprentices in our agency, and then they went off and spawned their own agency, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
But if you try to do it by yourself and you take on a dentist and you don't know anything about running campaigns for dentists, and you don't know what the tools are or how to talk to them, what the appropriate procedures are, then you might as well put a blindfold on and drive Indy 500. Like, you're not going to win.
Say that.
It's not going to work.
I was just going to say Formula One, actually. So,
or whatever, it's even worse. Yeah. Like, no way. Like, it's not like in school, somehow we're taught that if we like work with someone else, it's cheating, or maybe we need to be like the entrepreneur and like, we're the big boss and we're the CEOs, and like, no, deliver the result. then you can be the big boss. And I view it as like, imagine, Daniel, you and I are doctors in the emergency room. Okay.
Yes.
And we're wearing white lab coats. We have stethoscopes around our neck. We went to school, actually went to medical school. We know what there's like a lot of training you have to go through. And patients come in and they need surgery. And you are a specialist in heart surgery. And somebody comes in and they got shot in the heart. And you're an expert. So you know how to do heart surgery. It's not a secret, is it? You didn't read Russell Brunson's Heart Surgery Secrets book in a weekend to learn the secrets of heart surgery, did you?
God, I
You
hope
went
not.
to school to become a pro. Or maybe if that patient who's being wheeled in and is bleeding to death and has a few minutes left before they're going to die, do you think maybe if you give them a pep talk that you can convince them to like not die? Or do you think maybe you have to be competent and know what you're doing to save that patient's life?
You
Do you
absolutely
think the
have to be
hospital,
confident.
so Daniel, can the hospital make more money by having more salespeople in the emergency room? Is like convincing them and closing them. You know, you don't need just a heart surgery. You need a lung transplant, and you need a new liver, and you need to get more hair, and you need to can a hospital make more money by having more salespeople or more people going door to door or closers or, account reps or whatever?
Right. I see where you're going with this.
So if we are actually good at what we're doing, we never have to do slick used car sales techniques. We are doctors wearing white lab coats. Patients come in and we diagnose them and we make a recommendation. So Daniel, let's say you come in and you have pain. Okay. Maybe you went skiing and you like hurt you broke your collarbone or something like that. Whatever. You did some kind of sport thing. You have your fender strap behind you and you got carpal tunnel, hurt your fingers, cut the strings. I don't know, whatever it is. Right?
Sure.
You come in, you have an injury. What's the first thing we're going to do?
Have me sign a paper.
Well, the intake form. So then we can get the x-rays and we can, see like you take your blood and your temperature and all this, because based on the data, we're then going to make a recommendation, right?
Right.
But if you came in and said, oh, I have heart pain, I need heart surgery. Well, me as a doctor, I'll say maybe, or maybe you just have heartburn, you ate too much spicy Mexican food, right?
Right.
I don't know, but we need to do an x-ray and we're going to see, like, do you actually have a heart problem? No, I need heart surgery right now. Like, maybe not. We're going to analyze it first, right? So us as pro-level agencies, we need to analyze the situation first and then make a recommendation. And so we say, go ahead.
So you are consulting, diagnosing, prescribing.
Yes, we don't. So prescription before diagnosis is malpractice.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that?
Yes. I used to work in the industry, actually, funny enough.
So that's what agencies do. They all make the prescription before even knowing what the issue is. And then the clients believe they haven't been heard because they know the agency is making this record. They're so quick to go to the sale to sell their $5,000 a month package or whatever it is, that they haven't even had a chance to talk to them, to like understand the client and be polite. They're like, just, are you ready to buy? Are you serious about getting more leads and patients? And dude, that doesn't work. Okay.
Right. And to your point about the doctor thing, well, okay, so this makes sense. I want to kind of highlight what you said. This makes perfect sense, because if you are just getting started in this, it's very easy to get lost in this day-to-day of, I need to get sales. I want to get rich. I want to get my Lamborghini. I want to post on Instagram. I can do it in 30 days because Jimbo said I could do it. So you're just producing sales, but you're not really producing results. And therefore, when you were saying that, when doctors go to medical school for well, actually maybe to become a surgeon, more like 15 years or something like that. More. It's because when you go in a surgical room, which I've done before, and it's the weirdest thing ever. And my first surgery I saw was open heart surgery, crazy enough, which was nuts. It's barbaric. These guys, I mean, they know what they're doing. But when you look at them, they're just like, it's like they're working on a car, to be honest with you. And the reason why they're able to do this is because they know exactly what they have to do to get things done. And they're not sitting there like, hey, could you send me the heart surgeon book again? I can't remember what I'm supposed to hear. They just know what to do, get it done. Do no harm, make things better. And that happened over 20 years, but that took a lot of time and effort. And so it seems like you really have to get the knowledge down. You really have to listen. You really have to know how to strategize. And then you have to know how to implement the prescription, which is like marketing vehicle per se, and the system to get
Yeah.
not just get a client on, but make sure you get garner the results that you need.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the gist of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Well, what if, Daniel, you and I, we go to Amazon and we buy the very best scalpel or very best stethoscope. Let's go to Amazon. Okay.
Okay.
Amazon. I go to Amazon all the time. And we buy, what's some piece of medical equipment, you know?
Oh, do I don't know, do scalpel. Let's see what comes up.
Okay. So there's all these scalpels, $6 scalpel, $19 scalpel, $8 ones, all these scalpels, right?
Mhm.
And as far as I can tell, I mean, what do I know? This has got 3,000 reviews and it's $7. And, you know, you and I can both buy the scalpel. Maybe there's a $14 scalpel and a $15 scalpel, all these scalpels. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I buy the very best scalpel I can find, the most expensive one, has the most reviews, it's like the best, am I qualified to do some surgery this afternoon?
Maybe
I got the very best scalpel.
maybe in the black market, sure.
Okay.
Definitely
Well,
not.
why is it that marketers believe that if they have this particular tool, now they're ready to start doing marketing? Is it really the tool? How much of it's the tool?
Do you think though it's also because it's the accessibility?
It's because the
Which
people
makes it
selling the
seem
tool would
easy?
have you believe if you have the tool, then you can start doing all these things. That's
Exactly.
why. That's why there's so much bullshit. I believe you actually, look, I used to play a lot of golf, and I would sometimes go to the range and Tiger Woods would be there, which is
Oh, cool.
because I was one of the early people at Yahoo, and he was there at the Stanford campus. And Jerry and David were the two co-founders at Yahoo,
Mhm.
and Jerry had the nerve to walk up. So they had Tiger was on this other side, because not where like the regular, they had this other thing that was like gated off for him.
Yeah.
But Jerry Yang would go over there and give Tiger Woods unsolicited swing advice on how he can improve his swing. And this is when Tiger was a big deal a long time ago, right? Can you imagine?
This wasn't like
that?
a dare or a joke though.
No, he actually would go over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
All right.
they played a lot of golf. I mean, heck, why not, right?
Sure.
And I get the same thing too. People come up to me and they want to tell me how search engines work. Dude, I built the analytics at Yahoo 20 some years ago. I think I have a pretty good idea of what SEO is. My whole job was to bust people trying to trick us, right? A lot of the people that work at Google worked for me initially. But anyway, so let me ask you, and anyone listening, who do you think would win in a game of golf? Tiger Woods with a rusty shovel, or me with the most fantastic brand new set of Titleist golf clubs?
Oh, he'd win with a broken shovel.
Yeah, but I have the latest clubs and all this. I have the nice shirts that are, breathable and dry wicking, and the latest shoes with the nice spikes and all the best equipment. And
Right.
Tiger Woods just shows up with some like $2 club from Goodwill. Who's going to win? He shows up with a 9-iron from Goodwill. It's all rusty.
It's the player. It's him.
And is it not the same thing? So if we're playing basketball and LeBron James is wearing sandals and I have the latest whatever Michael Jordan shoe, who's going to win?
Well, you might have a chance, but
even with the latest Air Jordans, maybe I'd have a chance. I could like jump higher than LeBron
unless
James.
it's like flip flops, like snapped off. They're cheap ones. But no, I mean LeBron James for sure, because he knows what he's doing. Exactly.
Okay. So I really think that digital marketing has become a shit show with all these people that are hawking tools. They're like voodoo, witch doctor, Ouija board people, thinking that it's about the tools when really it's about the competency. Of course, we need tools. So let me show you an example of how we repurpose high quality content. So the high authority content, the relationships. So even if you don't have the relationships like I do, you can always invite these other people to be in a podcast, right? You can always, even if you don't have the knowledge and you're brand new, you can always ask these people questions and they have the knowledge. These other experts have the knowledge. Just like Chad invited me to teach here, right? I'm sharing my knowledge.
Right. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Dennis, like you're just a regular guy. And
I'm just some dude.
You're just a
Yeah.
dude. And if you know, we just reached out to you like, hey, you want to join? And you're like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
complicated.
So let me show you an example. Here's a friend of mine, Caleb Williams, and he sells life insurance. What a horrible thing to try to sell, right?
Oh my
Think
God.
about yeah. And he full disclosure, friend of mine for years, and he started out with no digital presence. So I said, you need to start interviewing other people. You need to start the podcast. You need to start doing all this. And you can, and just last week he hit 500 episodes. Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
Yep. And now he's an industry figurehead, and I'm going somewhere here. So you guys who know me know that I always teach through stories.
When did he start?
He started selling life insurance as Better Wealth. Then he started a conference where he brought all the top people in the industry in. Then he started he started a SaaS company providing services to these folks, all from just building his authority. So I was at his conference. There's Garrett Gunderson. There's all these are all the top people in the industry. He held a mastermind. Somebody went from a nobody in the industry to running a mastermind with the top people that had never even been together in the same room, which was wild. This was just in Denver a couple of weeks ago. You can see this, right? It's taken on my Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Oh man, you're really tracking.
And this is a picture of him. We were having beer. This is him and the president of the largest and oldest industry association for financial advisors. And this guy, Kevin Mayu, I couldn't believe this guy was willing to fly into Denver and speak at Caleb's mastermind. So how much authority is it when you got the top guy in the industry who's got the largest association membership? Like this is the one that if you're a financial advisor, you're a part of NAFA, National Association of Financial Advisors or something like that, right? How awesome is it to have someone like this keynote at your conference?
I mean,
what does that mean for his authority, right?
Well, I mean, authority goes through the roof, but business benefit must have been, it sort of plays hand in hand, sort of, but he just got out there, made things happen. Like it's almost intrinsically happens because you just build value from just being like more present online initially. And then,
yeah, like here, we have all these videos of Caleb doing stuff, and I can even show you over the years so you can see that I'm not making no one else. I bet you've never seen anybody else show this before. Like literally log into their Gmail, log into their photos. This is pulled automatically off of my iPhone, and you can see him speaking. You can see him. This is Rich Schefren, the guy who's like the godfather of internet marketing that taught Russell Brunson and all the rest of these people, right?
Yeah.
This is Josh Fector. Here he is speaking at these different places. Here he is with what's his face?
Little video of the video.
Yeah. So before you leave,
there's Caleb Maddox. That's who that is. So there's tons and tons of videos with him and other people here's him and Brennan Agronoff. Him and the guy who created LearnDash. There's him on stage in front of 1,000 people at TNC, right?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I happen to be there too. So look, if we look at calebwilliams.com, his personal brand site, you see this video here? This is him speaking on stage at TNC. So how much power is there? If you're in the world of digital marketing, you know that Digital Marketer and TNC is the #1 conference to be at. And here he is speaking in front of 1,000 people at TNC. How much authority is that?
It's instant. It punches you in the face.
So if he has it only on his website, then not many people are going to see it. But if he takes this and his interviews with other people, he's building massive authority. So here's what I want you guys to see. When we have Caleb, there's dash clicks. There's Tom Ferry. So Caleb's, made all these, and some of them have taken off and some of them haven't gone anywhere. That's just kind of how it is, right? I mean, you never really know which ones are be the ones that kill it. So we've taken all these, and this is the punchline. I've waited this long to show you. We've taken these particular videos, whether they're from a Zoom or a podcast or off my phone, and we've transcribed them. And these are all co-created content. So you can see there's a lot, there's hundreds of these things in here, right? And each of them are with somebody who's well known, like Garrett Gunderson is probably the #1 guy in financial services. So this is the podcast episode, but we've also transcribed it. So we can turn it into articles, pull out 1-minute snippets, highlight other sorts of things that are here, and make 15, 20 other pieces of content from that. Then do what I'm famous for, which is $1 a day. Then boost that on Twitter for $1 a day to Garrett's, because Garrett's huge. He's got millions of followers. So millions of other people are going to see the content where Caleb is interviewing Garrett. And nowhere along the line is Caleb asking Garrett to endorse him, but Garrett naturally does that. And so that creates huge authority, just like I showed you with Tom Ferry and Glenn Vo and Grant Cardone and all these other sorts of people, right? So you have to, what you do is you honor, here's the summary. You honor other people that are respected in the industry. And you take that and you post it everywhere and you push it out there for $1 a day. And that creates association. That kind of authority is what causes people to believe that you must be good, because you never talked about yourself. It's like Fight Club. You only have other people who are well-known talk about you. And you asked something about, how do we do this, or where did this come from? This wasn't some like random thing that I was doing. I have people who know me well know, like Ryan Dice said, with someone like Dennis, you have to listen to him very carefully because he never says anything by accident. It's all very well thought out. So here's what I've done. I've been collecting all this stuff into this filing cabinet, Google Docs, this personal brand manager. So all this content here, we're creating content here in the blue that gets repurposed and edited using Descript and other tools, that gets distributed to multiple places, that gets turned into other things, like ads and whatever. So high authority content. You don't have to be on TV, but that helps, right? Arguing with Mark Zuckerberg on TV certainly helps. Like being on CNN. Look at this, is a fun one.
Oh, I like to see that.
Further, and Facebook's role in it.
Dennis Yu is the Chief Technology Officer for BlitzMetrics, joining us now on set, an industry insider and expert.
And this is on CNN. That's pretty cool, right? In front of 3.5 million people live talking about Facebook. So that creates authority. But anyone watching this, they don't know who I am. They just see that this Asian guy wearing a tie is on CNN. But the perceived authority is really high. So everything that you need to do, if your agency is struggling with generating leads, let's say you actually are competent, you actually know what you're doing, or you've partnered with another agency that actually knows what they're doing, that's not enough. Because to drive the leads, you have to create the perceived authority. Perceived authority means who are you associated with? So these people on TV, they know something about, whatever, how to be on TV. But do you think they can go toe to toe with me on what's included in the Facebook API and how to optimize Facebook ads? These news people, right? They can't do that. They don't have enough knowledge to do that, because the next thing they're going to talk about some bombing, or they're going to talk about the weather. They're going to talk about the stock market went up or down. They're like, whatever the next news story is, that's what happens, right? And I'm just like one of the next stories that they have. So they have no way to tell whether I actually know anything about Facebook marketing and the algorithm or ads, correct?
Correct.
But but even if they don't know, do I need to, this is like a test of comprehension. Do I need to demonstrate that I know that I am a pro at Facebook marketing when I'm on CNN?
I think you could just sit there and say nothing and people would just be like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Right. Exactly. Now, why is that?
Well, hopefully I'm following in the same direction you are, but to me, it's more of just the fact that your face is on a screen that has a CNN logo on it, and CNN has already built their credibility to, well, I guess that's questionable these days.
I mean, depending on who you are,
depending on who you are, but basically the titles there, they built their credibility up. So now that you're associated with that credibility. It's like an instant just association.
Right. So for any of you guys out there that are listening, when you are with someone else who is well known, who's already knowledgeable, who like whatever it is, like I'm hanging out with Michael Stelzner, or like here's all these people that here, look at these people, right? I know a bunch of these people, right? But all I need to do, this is going to sound ridiculous, but all I need to do is be around these people, and other people will naturally assume that I'm in that same crowd, right? Even if I'm not. So even if I'm just taking a picture with Gary Vaynerchuk among the thousands of other people that have done selfies with Gary Vaynerchuk, then, whatever, it carries some authority. But just because you take a picture with them doesn't mean anything necessarily, right? Because at a conference, especially if you're wearing a badge. So if you see a picture where you're wearing a conference badge, like that instantly loses credibility, because then like they don't know you. It's just at a conference, right?
Just you walk out and they do a quick photo with you or something. Yeah.
So what you need to do is you make videos with them, and you have them in different settings outside of the conference. So what I do to show it's legit is we have them inside, have them on a podcast, my podcast, their podcast. We're in non-professional environments, like having dinner, that's a little more intimate than just taking a picture in front of some logo of the conference, right?
Right.
And so they can see you in different contexts. So what you do is, we talked about these stages of the content factory. You decide what it is you want to be known for. So what niche do you serve? That should be one of these circles. What hobbies do you have? That should be a couple of these circles.
Mm-hmm.
Something about your values or beliefs, that should be another circle. Two, probably digital marketing. If you're an agency, that should be one, right? So you have these circles, but even if I just say I care about entrepreneurship or I care about digital marketing, that carries no credibility or authority, right? If I just say that myself, right? So what I have to do is associate this with other people who do have authority in these other areas. And then I create content with them.
It's like you can't be a boat without buoyancy.
Yeah.
And you can't be a building without levels.
Right. So this is the topic wheel. I'm co-creating content with these other people that are well-known in topics that I want to be well-known in. And by merely interviewing them in an intelligent sort of way, and not just asking them the same questions they've been asked 50 times over and over again, that's ridiculous. That's not honoring them. Then we're developing a relationship. There's a vibe. People trust that I know something about mentorship or digital marketing or whatever it might be, right? Because they could, if all these other people who are well-known in that thing, Karen Freeberg is the social media professor that teaches all the other social media professors. She's got the freaking textbooks that the other professors use. So because she and I are friends, all these other college professors think that I'm pretty good too, right? I must be, right?
It also seems to most people like what you're doing is so out of reach and impossible. Like I have to gain this huge success in order to just access these people.
Okay, so I've taken it to the nth degree because I don't want to be a hypocrite or a fraud to say oh, well, Dennis doesn't know how. No, I have done it. I have done all these things.
Of course.
Even if I've done for 30 years, which is older than most of these kids. But even if you're 2 weeks into digital marketing and you sign up for somebody's webinar, you have other people that that you can interview. You have people inside the Dash Clicks Facebook group. You have friends that are successful business owners. You can interview your mom and dad. There's people do we not agree? I don't care how unnetworked you are. You always have people that you could reach out to and do a 5-minute interview, whether it's a Zoom interview or whatever. Do you agree?
Totally. And you have the free software to distribute. It's all there.
It's called the internet, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, okay, well, Dennis is good friends with Michael Stelzner, who founded Social Media Examiner and runs Social Media Marketing World. So therefore, he gets to speak on all these stages and talk about social media. Well, do you have to be friends with Michael Stelzner to have an agency that does social media?
No.
Do you have to be friends with Grant Cardone in order to help other people drive sales?
Definitely not. Nope.
No. You just need to talk to somebody. And this guy, Caleb Williams, I told you, he was a nobody 3 years ago. And now look, he's a big deal. How do you think Caleb Williams went from being a nobody to a big deal?
I mean, at the basic level, he just started doing something. He just started putting his face out there in a basic level.
Yeah. And his first podcast, they sucked. His first videos, they sucked. My first video, all of our videos, I don't care how awesome your first videos suck. So just go and make them, right? Because you need to get past the first 50 or 100 that suck to get to where you're actually decently good, right?
I think you also have to trust the fact that as you do it and continue, you'll get better and you'll sink into something that works.
Yeah. And as you interview other people, then they want to interview you. So let's say, I put Caleb on stage. And this is what he had to say the evening before I put
Hey
him on
guys,
stage.
I have learned a ton from Dennis Yu, and one of the things that he, endorses is this idea of a 1-minute video, kind of gratitude. And man, I am literally on the stage at Traffic and Conversion because Dennis has given me opportunities to not only learn from him, but actually travel and get speaking opportunities to speak in front of hundreds of people. And this actually is a video of the conference room that is going to hold over 1,000 people. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank you, Dennis.
See, isn't that awesome?
That's so cool.
It's merely, see, there it is. So it's merely being around other people. And I don't want to do this too much because then it's going to sound like I'm just boasting all day. But like, here's HubSpot, right? I could say I'm good at marketing automation, and I could say that we know how to use HubSpot and Infusionsoft, because there's a lot of agencies that do marketing automation, build landing pages, ClickFunnels, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Chat bots, whatever. But isn't it more powerful if you co-create content with the platform as opposed to talking about how you know how to use the platform? So look at this.
Hi, I'm Lindsay with HubSpot Academy. Today, let's talk about marketing expert Dennis Yu's strategy for Facebook ad success, called the $1 a day Facebook ad strategy. What is the $1 a day strategy for Facebook ad success? No one wants to waste money on Facebook ads that don't work. But when you supplement your organic Facebook strategy with an ad strategy that's cost effective and gets more customers in the door, you'll be getting the most out of using Facebook to grow your business. Many of us need to reframe
Okay, so you get
way
the
we
idea,
think of
okay?
Facebook.
So this is by HubSpot. So
Right.
just to like drill the idea to, beat the dead horse, why would I rather do this than like me explaining what $1 a day is and how to do $1 a day?
Right. Well, it's the same thing with all the other stuff. It's sort of like they're just connected to you, and you just think of all these other people as like, HubSpot or CNN or anything else as up here. And the moment they credit you in some way or another, showing your face or they say you go up there with them too. Because that's where people associate it.
You have to save it. Anytime someone mentions you on Twitter, on whatever it is. So I have the #1 article on Influensive, which is an influencer. I have an admin on this thing too. You can see.
Also, the other thing too is you have it all saved. I agree with you. You have it all saved, and you can pull it up and you can use it.
Yeah, I use Google to pull it up.
Yeah.
We also have a Google Sheet that stores all this.
What
you
is
can
this,
see
Google?
There's like this is a great article, right? And I can see that this thing's been shared a stupid number of times. But if I see how many, there's a ton of people have shared this thing. And I can go comment on these other people that have shared my thing. But I also, now this is not going to be the case for everybody, okay?
Sure.
I could also go to Twitter and Facebook and look at my notifications. And I could see people will say, hey, I went through Dennis's $1 a day course and it was really good. Or, whatever it is, people are saying good things, right? High level, like my reply. Okay, well, that's cool. That happened just a few hours ago.
That's awesome.
And the thing is, when you have stuff like that happens, you've got to monitor or have a virtual assistant monitor. You would not believe, even if you're a nobody, you'll still have people that will say good things about you, right? Look, these are my notifications just from the last few minutes. And there's people that are saying good things about my stuff, right? So someone's got to be coming in here and commenting and saying thank you and all that, right? This is great. This is literally just, I can live just off of what, look at here's one, Mary Henderson, who's the queen of personal branding on LinkedIn. Oh, she tagged me because I'm in her newsletter, whatever that came out today. Okay. But if you're collecting all these, you can repurpose the heck out of it. So what we did with Caleb's stuff is like the thing with Garrett Gunderson, because Garrett is super well known in this industry. We took this stuff and turned it into blog posts, pulled out tweets, pulled out these other pieces. And now we can take one piece of content and get 100 times the power out of that, what it originally got, even if it was from years ago. So the beauty is, when I use tools like this to repurpose, let's see, I could do this. I could say, so I'm using Descript here as a, why is this not working? New camera. Start camera recording. Hey guys, Dennis Yu. I have the #1 book on social media on Amazon. It's called The Definitive Guide to TikTok Ads. I hope you get it and learn how to make 15-second short form videos, just like my buddy Dan and Chad here on Dash Clicks. And if you're in this Facebook group, I hope that you learn how deep fakes work and how you use these different tools to be able to make content at scale. Even if you can't speak clearly and you have lots of speech problems and can't say things properly. Today's Thursday, July 7th, and I'm going to go eat some steak. So Daniel,
The value I got from that was impeccable.
was it?
It was amazing.
What did you get?
You like steak.
I love meat.
Me too.
So this has been transcribed now. And I'm not using a microphone. I know you have a microphone there. I'm literally just using this laptop here, okay?
Right.
I actually do have a whole studio, but I didn't even use it because I just wanted to demonstrate what authentic content looks like.
Sure.
So when this stuff is not edited, #1 book on social media on Amazon. It's called, so there it is. And I've got these filler words, you can see. They're gone now. Ums and ahs are gone. And the speaker is me. I can have it identify, but I'm just going to go ahead and call it as me. And they said, whatever, they said it's Y-O-U. I'm going to correct that because my last name is Y-U. Okay. And I'm also going to make the sound a little bit better and apply what's called studio sound so that it sounds as good as if I have a microphone like you, Daniel. And so now the sound has been applied, and I'm going to switch back and forth between this is the AI that's cleaning up the sound. Listen to it in the actual raw and then being cleaned up. Guys, Dennis Yu, I have the #1 book on social media on Amazon. It's called The Definitive Guide to TikTok Ads. I hope you get it and learn how to make 15-second short form videos, just like my buddy Dan and Chad here on Dash Clicks. And if you're in this Facebook group, that's pretty cool, huh?
It's subtle, but it makes a difference. It makes a
It
makes a difference.
But maybe it's not a Facebook group. Maybe it's a LinkedIn group. Is it? And what else? Maybe it's not Thursday. Maybe it's Friday, actually, because we're in Asia or something, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not Amazon. It's actually the New York Times. Oops. I can't type New York. Can't I type this? Okay. So the AI is, oops, I gotta Control-Z that one.
Is what I think is going to happen.
It is. Yeah, it is. Okay, here we go. Amazon. It's called The Definitive Guide to TikTok Ads. I hope you get it and learn how to make 15. Actually, let's fast forward over here. Wait, why is it doing this punctuation thing? I'm just going to play 15-second short form videos, just like my buddy Dan and Chad here on Dash Clicks. And if you're in this LinkedIn group, I hope that you learn how deep fake. So
Holy moly.
Now imagine that you are an agency and you have 10 clients, and every week you have to submit some kind of report. So imagine it's, hey, Daniel, I was looking over your stats for June, and it looks like we drove 23 leads and we spent $2,400. And your best ad was the one when you're outside, with whatever it is with the talking about your favorite restaurant. And we're going to start doing your Google ads next month because of Performance Max. But hey, I just wanted to check in and tell you everything's going great. We'll talk soon. And then let's say we did that and we had a VA deep fake it and produce all my reports so it looks like, and we do the screen share, and then I'm the little circle in the corner, and it has all the reports with the data and all whatever, but I didn't actually record the video. I have a friend who just sold his agency for 7 figures, and this is the technique that he did for account management by deep faking all the status reports.
Wow. And that was ridiculously quick.
Yeah. Now, let's say we did a podcast and it was the 7 things that you need to do in 2022. But then wait, we forgot there's actually an 8 thing. So we can make it 8. And now it's 2023 and we can change the article to 2023. And let's say we use, Jasper, we used to be called Jarvis.
Yeah. I think it had more names than, I think there was another name it was called too.
It's called Converge.ai and all this. But let's say that, I created some training on how to use Jarvis, because I have a ton of training on how to use Jarvis to write articles and headlines and stuff like that. But then they changed their name to Jasper. Do I have to refilm all that content?
No way. You literally, I hope not, but you literally could just change the text. And that was believably smooth.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was really great.
Yeah. And this is one of many tools. There's other ones that will make the lips work a little bit better, and ones where you can integrate it to do a whole list of people at scale, just like an email autoresponder at scale. There's also, my buddy Wes put.
Are you able to post content through Descript or just edit?
You can do all these things. You see, how URL parameters work, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that there's an image or whatever, and I want to customize the image, which means people click on it in an email, or they click on it in an ad, and I could say, Daniel and Chad of Dash Clicks are bosses, right?
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Now we can personalize and all these. Now think about how how like autoresponders work, such as like, hey, I hope you're having a good Friday, and I'd like to invite you to my webinar. How they like inject these personal. It's like garbage personalization.
Yeah.
Imagine if personalization was like this, where there was audio and there's video. You get a text message. It sounds like it's from Grant Cardone or whatever it is. How much more powerful? How much deeper would that relationship be if you combined it with actual personalization? I'm not saying use this to automate away humans completely.
Sure.
But it allows the interaction you do have to be powerful, right?
Right. Well, it just becomes more people than yourself talking about it. Well, actually, to be honest, you're not even really talking about what you do or your results or anything specifically. It's just you have a community that you're involved in, and you are letting people know that you're involved.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you don't have enough time. So now you can personalize and deepen all these relationships individually, right?
Right.
So let's say that you joined our company.
Okay.
And you're a new hire, and we ask you to define your goals. And here I explain how you need to set your goals in a 3x3 goal sheet, your short, medium, long-term goals, personal, physical, professional. So you have to fill out these 9 boxes. And it's something we require all of our people to do, because we don't want them to just progress in our company, like make more money and level up and have more projects and have more skills. We want them to be able to achieve their life goals and relationship goals, and they want to travel the world, and they want to buy their mama a house, and we want people to be able to win in all aspects of their life, right? So that's why we have this, we explain like why we care about your goals, right? But what % of people do you think, Daniel, fill out their goal sheet?
Probably none.
Yeah, because it's like, this is another form I have to fill out. I have to fill out this W-9 thing. I have to, this is like some HR thing where I don't want all these forms when I get hired,
Yeah, and maybe someone doesn't really have defined goals, which can be difficult to define.
Right. And even still, they're like, okay, fine. Even if I can figure out, like, I don't even know what I want to be in 5 years, or, okay, I want to make more money. Sure. I want to make $1 million. All right, great. But why would I even go through all that? Like, what's the point, right? Are they just going to like print it out and then shame me in a year from now and say, hey, you didn't hit your goals, you're a loser, right? So what we do is we personalize it by having messages from other people that we send them like as a text message. So imagine you didn't fill out your goals.
Okay.
And a few days later, you get this message from Grant Cardone.
Hey guys, Dennis wanted me to hit you. Fill out those boxes. 9 simple boxes, short, medium, long-term goals, personal, physical, professional. Every day I write my goals down, every single day, morning, at night, before I go to sleep. This way you can start categorizing, figure out where they're at, so you're hitting everything. You don't want to just hit money. not take care of your physical. I am working out this morning. You write your goals down every day. You fill out your 3x3 goals. I'm telling you, magic will happen. Magic. It is magic. Okay, you guys be great. Love you.
All right. What do you think about?
Oh my gosh.
Imagine you got that. You didn't fill out your goal sheet, or you had another celebrity say, "Hey, Daniel, I've been watching you, and good job, in completing chapter 1 and getting an A on the quiz, or glad you filled out your status report, or awesome on, creating your first Facebook ad, or, whatever kind of reminder, like you get little encouragements along the way." How would you feel about that?
Well, with a credible re-encouragement video like that, it would make me want to do it. Grant Cardone is hitting me up saying, Daniel, you gotta get on this. I gotta get on it.
Daniel, where's your goals, man? Like I've been looking for your sheet. Dennis
Actually,
told me you didn't.
To be honest with you, if I got a message like that on my phone, it was Grant Cardone saying, Daniel, what's up, bro? I'd be like, I think I'd start sweating and be like, oh my God, I need to go fill this thing out now.
Which will work today. This will
Right.
work for the next year or two, but I think in 2 or 3 years, if you get a message saying, hey, Daniel, it's July 7th, and I noticed you didn't fill out your June goals. You didn't turn in your status report. You'd be like, hey, yeah, he's just using the deepfake software to do that. Like Grant Cardone didn't actually say that, right?
Well, I mean, maybe, but I think majority of people wouldn't think about that because it's just like a reactive response to something they just instantly get. You don't tend to think about that. So I sort of think, who knows, but you don't necessarily think about that. I feel like in a sense, like if you get a level of credibility of all these things that you've been showing, that just adds so much incentive and push for people just to automatically respond. I almost feel like if you were on CNN again and you just said some weird word every sentence to put in like apple pie or something, I don't think anyone would notice.
I think a lot of Joe Biden's being deep faked to make him look bad. I don't think he's, who knows what he's actually saying. Right?
Who knows? Who knows? But I guess my point is like, you almost become a bit more blind to details like that because you're just associating the connections. So for me, I know there's all these tools out there and things like that, but when you're being sent a video in Grant Cardone, a part of you sort of wants it to be true. So
yeah, because it's kind of cool.
First of all, it's cool because I'll show it to my friends, no matter how real or fake it is. But it does. That is really interesting that you brought all this stuff up. I mentioned this at the beginning as well. Like I sort of had a sinking feeling when you started going through all this stuff because I did feel like, oh man, I really was thinking about this all wrong. I really had this whole thing just completely. Now, I would never been for showing off cars. That's never really been a goal of mine for like entrepreneur stuff. But man, I really was thinking about this wrong. And that's because I learned from what I saw in the market, and majority of it has it wrong too. Yeah. So like, why do you think people aren't, do you think they just don't know? That's why they're not doing this, what you're doing? Or do you think it's just more of like a long-term, short-term thing? People want instant gratification. They know showing off cars works better than just building credibility.
Daniel, I think you said it. The people that are the loudest are usually not necessarily correct. In fact, they're usually wrong. And the people that are asking for your money, I would be suspect. I would be very cautious anytime someone's asking for money, especially if it's coaching or you can make millions with your agency. And so people fall for this just like they fall for weight loss or make millions in real estate or whatever the latest thing is. And you can have a longer penis. All these things people are easily tricked on, and they always will continue to be tricked because they don't realize that it does take time to become an expert in something. Even if you have the best tools, you have to build relationships. Technology is not a substitute for building relationships because the thing that will grow your agency is not running Facebook ads or TikTok ads. That's great. That may generate leads, but it's from the power of referral from people who believe in you and continue to talk about you. And whether you run ads or have salespeople trying to dial for dollars or get appointments, if you have customers that love you, they will tell everyone about that. They will, whether you do anything or not. If you do a good job for your clients, they will take care of you. But if you do a bad job for your clients, they're also going to talk about you too. And that you can't outrun that one either. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm going to show you one last thing to end on a point.
Okay.
So I'm one of those people where I'm very loyal to my friends, to the point where I'm just so loyal, I'll do anything. Okay. Because I just believe in my friends. And one of my friends is Philip Kadu, who is a massage therapist in San Diego. And this guy signed up for this agency called Go Be Rewarded. And I searched this guy's name. Aaron Gobitis is the founder of Go Be Rewarded. And Philip gave him $12,500. And after 6 months, and here's all the proof, after 6 months, nothing. But this guy, Aaron's a great sales guy. He followed all the techniques that you hear all the gurus talk about on how do you sign up. And so I flew in and we recorded a whole video of the conversation of what happened. There's Philippe here. There's my buddy Mark. Here's 3 of the people in Aaron's offices. And Aaron was there for the first couple minutes. And then he just dipped out. Because I asked questions like, okay, so what happened with the $12,500 that Philippe paid?
Oh, he left.
He left, he dipped out. But we did get his approval before. I said, okay, we're going to record this because we're going to document what's going on here, right? And ideally, it's going to be a turnaround case where, so I'm basically like the Gordon Ramsay of digital marketing. You know, like Gordon Ramsay comes into these guys, like their kitchens are all messed up. And sometimes they turn around and sometimes it's just a disaster. And the guy's like fighting Gordon Ramsay. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So this is an example where this guy was fighting me.
One question before we start.
Yeah.
Why did he agree to do this? Did he just think this would be like a great PR piece to scale his business or something? Like, did he have any hesitation?
His ego was so big. He's like, I don't care who you are. I stand behind what I do. I'm a good salesperson. And if we didn't, we did great work and, we don't need to do any additional work or do any kind of refunds or whatever it is, because I stand behind what we do. I'm like, really? So we logged into the Google Analytics and we saw that you didn't have goals set up. We logged into the Facebook, business manager, and we see like the posts are getting like 2 people or 3 people with reach because you paid all this money to film this video that nobody ever saw. The website has no SEO power, so it drove no leads. The only business that Philippe had, so he was making Philippe was making $2,000 a month of income just off of his referral patients from people that keep coming back. And he was paying this guy $2,000, paying the agency more money than his total revenue was. And so Philippe came to me saying, my business is basically bankrupt because I gave all this money to this guy and I thought he was going to do some stuff and nothing happened. And I feel really burned and I don't want to say anything because, it was my fault for having hired him. And I said, no. It's like bringing your car that's broken to a mechanic who takes your money and doesn't fix your car. And then says, sorry, it's as is, there's no warranty, there's, whatever it is. So, and he made the guy sign a contract on the spot and all that. So the guy has so much pride. So then I made a post about it, which is this. And I said, who can help my friend Philippe? And sure enough, I'll show you. A few agencies came in and volunteered to help. And we have an amazing story of a turnaround where he's getting awesome leads now and things are doing well, right? But it took all of these conversations to be able to turn things around. And here, you want to see how bad it is?
I would love to.
This is something you never hear about, right? Never hear about this. So Aaron Gobitis is the founder and he's a good sales guy, but all he cares about is selling. I asked his team and it's there in the video. You can play it. It's not me saying it. His team said, I said, who's in charge here? Who's in charge of this client? I know that Aaron came in and sold and then he's off to the next thing. And they said, we don't know. We don't have a guy who's like doing this. Right. And
dude, this is like, this is kind of.
So this guy said, I am not outrunning anything. Why don't you just do a better job than we did? And I asked him, so before you took Philippe's money, have you ever worked on a massage therapist before? And he said, no. I said, okay, well then how do you even know what a good cost per lead is? How do you even know? Like there's different kinds of massage. right? This guy does chronic injury workplace massage, which is different than like Swedish couples hot, therapy massage, like relaxation. That's a different kind of massage for people who have injury. And this guy is specially trained for people who have chronic injury. So you need to know what this guy does. And Philippe told me, he's never heard, like these guys have never even stopped to understand what this guy does because they thought all massage therapists are the same. So Philippe gave Aaron's team a whole bunch of free massages, and the idea of like, oh, we're going to learn about the business. They just got a bunch of free massages. And then Philippe wrote,
You're not
wrote
kidding.
this whole review on the Business Bureau about how he got completely scammed and how he's so disappointed.
So his market research was to get free massages.
Why not? Right? You take all the guy's money, you get free massages, you scam the shit out of the guy.
What do you think would happen? He would just get away with it? And
That's
just
what he thought. So here's what happened. I put together some notes here on what happened. I even wrote an article, The Fatal Mistake, marketing agencies work. And I even put it on Influensive, which is it's a high-powered site to be able to rank on this guy's name. Just to show you don't want to mess with Dennis Yu.
no.
Aaron is better at selling than delivering, right? And then I interviewed his past customers who also said that Aaron Gobitis did the same thing to them too. And I got it on freaking Zoom. I got it on a freaking Zoom call. Here it is.
Yeah, he was a cheat and a thief and a liar.
I am dumbfounded.
And we have the whole interview here. Look, the whole interview. I said, what happened? Tell me what happened with this guy. What did he do?
I called him or heard from him. And so I'm in San Diego, he's in Oceanside. And he was very good on the phone.
He's a great salesman.
Yeah, great salesman. He reminds me of some of these people that are on speed and they can somehow read your mind and they tell you everything that you want to hear. The one thing is he insisted that I drive up to Oceanside, which I did not understand because, why? It's like, if he can do this, but in any event, I drove up to Oceanside. It's a long drive. There's a lot of traffic. And he wanted to show off his place. I'm familiar with the area. I used to live in Oceanside. And he did a presentation meeting where there are a couple of women there. One of them was constantly on her smartphone. The other one was somewhat present. They really didn't know much about the subject. He also had another guy there. I guess he wanted to impress me with the staff, that was on hand and the plant where he had the thing. And one of the selling points was that his dad had been, I think, a curtain installer, like on Windows, and that, he knew how being a specialized.
So this goes
business.
on and on about how then he shoved the contract in front of him and made all these promises on how he was going to help this guy's business grow, and then nothing happened, right? And this goes on and on and on. So I don't believe you can outrun reputation. No. And that's what's happening here. And we can see these threads that go on and on where we can see what he has to say. And, Aaron's threatening me with legal stuff and lawyer. He says, oh, my lawyer's going to call you. I'm like, okay, great. Have your lawyer call, because I don't think you have any money. I think you're broke, right? Look, this is what he said. Aaron Gobitis said, my lawyers have stated, and we're going to investigate you to the FBI. I'm like, great. Tell the FBI about what you have done. We've put all this proof online publicly. The FBI, I think, the FBI should investigate you, right? Right?
I think this is shocking because I can see the effect of what this person's done.
Now do a search on Aaron Gobitis and you'll see all the stuff about him. Now, it's going to be a lot harder for him to sell now, isn't it? How many more people? He's still going to be able to scam because he's going to get on the phone. Right?
I don't even know. Guy's going to have to work at McDonald's now. I mean, but what I was going to say was, this is shocking to me to see, because you have
Shocking.
gone through the trouble to like stand up for this client, well, the other clients that he scammed, and kind of ruin his reputation, which kind of, fair enough. Hopefully it worked, but what's not shocking is I'm sort of coming to a conclusion that this is not uncommon.
This is the majority of marketing campaigns. So it's not that Aaron Gobitis is a scammer and a thief and a liar and all that. I mean, those are all
Right.
true. That
Sure.
he thought, because he's listened to all this stuff about how he should sell. He's like constantly feeding his mind on different ways to close, and like those are all great. There's nothing wrong with learning sales techniques.
Sure.
But remember, there's the one thing he forgot about, which is delivery. So he put all his effort into selling. And if you're an agency and you're new and you're struggling, you think your issue is you need to get more clients. And if you just got some more clients, then you need to say whatever's necessary. Like, oh, your friend needs a website. Yeah, I can do that. I need Facebook ads. Oh, yeah, I can do that. You'll say yes to anything because you just need clients, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that, because then you're going to end up making promises that you can't deliver and you're going to get in trouble. And it's not that you ever, and I've seen this happen with hundreds of other people that are like Aaron. They paint themselves, they dig themselves into a hole where they've accepted all these different deals they can't deliver. So, and they've run out of money because they've spent it on their lifestyle to try to look good and go to conferences. They feel like they're winning. They're spending all this money on posing to try to look good because everyone else is posing and looking good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they have no money to actually deliver because they don't know how to actually do this stuff. So how do you hire someone who actually knows how to set up text remarketing campaigns or reactivation campaigns or Facebook ads, or like, I don't know how to do that. I'll just hire someone on Fiverr for $10. No, that's not going to get you very far, right?
Do you think
Now we're in trouble? We can't deliver, and he has no money, right? And then then your reputation is shot. And it's not that he didn't intend to scam people initially. I don't think so. I mean, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think like most digital marketers, they would like to, but they end up focusing so much on selling, they get themselves into a position where they can't deliver. And now you have all these unhappy clients. And that's why, you know what the average churn rate is on social media agencies, right?
I don't know, probably like 50%.
It's 90 days.
Oh, churn time. Oh,
yeah.
If it was time, I would have said 30 days.
Yeah. Well, you have people on either. It's not 30 because usually the client will give you the benefit of the doubt, like we'll give you another month just to like, whatever it is, but it's 90 days.
It's incredible. Do you think that one of the, so I think that's obvious. It's like people can just see if I become a good salesperson, I can just get clients quick. Don't worry about results. Results will come later type of thing. It's easy to kind of discredit that and just forget about it. Do you think one of the main reasons, and I only have a couple more questions, and I think this is a good place to end it, but unless you have something else to show, I would love to see it.
No, that I'm just going on both ends of authority, right? There's
Right.
authority that can help you, but if you don't deliver, there's the authority that can hurt you.
But do you think that part of this problem is that the accessibility of these resources? Like an example would be like, you could just sign up for a Google account, put a credit card in, make an ad, push go, and then you're an ad expert.
So you say you are.
Right. But that goes back to your scalpel analogy. Like anyone can buy a scalpel.
Right?
It doesn't make you a surgeon.
Right.
Got it.
So marketing is an unregulated area. So people can just declare whatever they want. That won't last forever.
What do you think will happen?
Well, look at what's going on with pilots, right? You have to go to flight school. You can't just say, okay, I can fly that 737. Really? Oh yeah, I've watched all kinds of videos. I mean, I've flown 6 million miles. I know lots about airplanes. Really?
I watched the Top Gun movie.
Yeah, definitely. Or, think about mechanics, right? Mechanics have to go to school to learn how to work, because if you don't know how to work on the transmission, you're going to burn yourself or screw things up. Or, you want to be a doctor, you have to go to medical school. So if you want to be a marketer and you're going to touch somebody's business, don't you think there should be some kind of certification? Maybe not regulated by the government, but there needs to be some standards. Otherwise, you have Aaron Gabitises out there. And then that makes us all look bad, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I have one last question. What is the number one advice you can give to someone who's looking to hire a marketing agency to determine if it's the right agency to hire? What do you use to measure?
Very, very easy. I want to see that you've done it for 3 other businesses that are just like mine. So if I'm a chiropractor, I want to see that you've done it for 3 other chiropractors, and I want to see it documented step by step, just like I showed you how we document all our stuff. And if you can't do that, then sorry, we're going to go another way, right? Because maybe you're smart, maybe you've done it for, a real estate agent, but that's not the same thing as a plumber or a mortgage broker or whatever other kind of business. I need to see that you've done it and achieve results for 3 other businesses, and I want to be able to talk to them.
So this would be good advice for agency owners listening, that when you're getting your clients, you better work your ass off to get the results they need, and then you better document it so that you can show it to other clients.
Yep.
And then get Grant Cardone to give you a video.
That too, yeah. So there's perceived authority and actual authority. Actual authority is you can deliver the results. Perceived authority is you're around other people that make you look like you might be good, but you need both.
And the last thing I'll mention before we end it is that perceived value of being around people who give you that credibility seems to be impossible to achieve. Because I will admit, what you just showed does seem a bit like, how do I get connected with people? How do I do this? But at the end of the day, like Dennis, you're Dennis, I'm Daniel. We're connected. And just by doing something and getting started somewhere, like what was his name again? The one that started 3 years ago on YouTube, and then he just built.
Yeah.
Look what he did. He just started, and now look what he's doing.
And I know hundreds of people that are like him.
Exactly. But I think the one thing to take away with all this, it still takes work. It still takes dedication. You still got to put work in time to make sure that you're getting somewhere that's worth going,
Yep.
So anyways, Dennis Yu, BlitzMetrics. That was amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Now, what are you going to say when you post? How would you summarize this to get people to watch?
There was a lot of things. I would say probably, well, on this episode, I mean, because we're still recording.
Yeah.
Do you want me to
No,
add
I mean,
this on?
it doesn't matter. We're just keep it recording. Who cares? I'm curious to see what you have to say.
I don't know yet. There was a lot of eye-opening things that I'm processing about what was said.
Why would people want to spend an hour and a half with us? I mean, they got lots of things they could be watching Netflix or doing other stuff. Right?
Well, to probably the point is, well, let me dissect this a bit. And I think that'll give the answer.
Yeah.
I literally thought we were just going to talk about repurposing content, and I related that to what I already knew. And I think what I sort of already knew as a base idea is what majority of people already know or think they know. And that's all the stuff we went over of what everyone's getting wrong. And then my mind got blown when we started talking about, I'm not even pitching my product. I'm not even pitching what I do. I'm not talking about how I do things really well. You're like showing in ways that aren't directly connected to what you do really well. And you're showing that in ways of the people you hang out with, the things people say about you, the places you appear. I mean, the effort and time it takes for you to stand up for some clients that had a really horrible experience, and you put that out as content to not only show that you care, and these people probably now are going to want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason people will want to watch this for an hour and a half is because they're going to hit this epiphany and go, I'm shooting for the wrong goals. If I really want to start a legitimate business, especially in marketing, and not screw myself over in the long term and then just jump into some other business and make the same mistakes, I need to make sure that I, first of all, listen to this whole thing because it's amazing, but start off on the right foot and make sure I'm doing the right things the first time. So I'm making sure I'm getting results. I'm not concerned about scaling as quick as I can and just closing clients. And I'm trying to set up my foundation of reputation, because that is going to be what matters most. And I think that matters most in probably everywhere. Having a good reputation, I think, precedes everything. but more so in a place that is really difficult to stand out, not just as a good marketer, well, not just as a good salesperson, but as a good marketing authority. So
And as a good person where you want to get referrals.
as a good person, as to get referrals. So I guess the long answer there for you, but it's going to change the way that you think about running and scaling your marketing agency. I think that's really just the best way to put it, because that's what it did with me. Now I don't have a marketing agency anymore, but if I did, I would I would watch this again, because I need to like dissect it and make sure that I change my mindset into the right one. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Daniel. Well, I appreciate the time. I thought
Yeah.
that was a great session. We went pretty deep.
We did. And I feel like I could spend another hour with you and just go deeper and go down a rabbit hole. But for the sake of everyone like listening and needing to get off to like do other stuff, Dennis, again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniel. Talk soon. And guys that are watching, I'd love to hear, like, what do you think? What's your epiphany? Because I'm going to check the comments and see what you guys are doing.
Yes. And I was going to ask, where can people find you? But should I just tell them to Google you?
Yeah, just Google me. Whatever your favorite channel is, I'm there.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.